Right now, 140 million miles away on Mars, a tiny titanium tube sits inside a dying robot. Inside that tube is a rock named Sample 25. And inside that rock might be the first proof of alien life ever discovered. There is just one problem. We left it in the dirt, not because it was dangerous, not because it was a secret, but because bringing it back to Earth was going to cost $11 billion, and humanity decided that was too expensive. Welcome to the Space Traveler's Log. Today, we are looking at Sample 25, the stranded alien rock on Mars. In July 2024, NASA's Perseverance rover was driving through an ancient, dried-up river valley called Neretva Vallis. It stumbled upon an arrowhead-shaped rock nicknamed Cheyava Falls. The rover used its grinding tool to scrape away the surface dust. Under its X-ray scanners, the rock lit up. It was filled with white veins of calcium sulfate, mixed with rusty red iron. But when scientists looked closer, they saw something unbelievable. Dozens of tiny dark rings. Scientists call them leopard spots. On Earth, leopard spots like this are made by living microbes. When ancient bacteria eat organic matter, they use iron and sulfur for energy. As they digest their food, chemical reactions turn the surrounding red rock into clear white spots, leaving behind dark rings of iron and phosphate. In simple terms, Perseverance found a chemical crime scene. On Earth, that specific chemical mess is made by hungry microbes eating breakfast. It is the single strongest clue of past life ever found on another planet. So, the rover drilled out a core of the rock, sealed it inside titanium tube number 25, and stored it inside its belly. You might wonder, if the rover is right there, why can't it just tell us if it's life? Because Perseverance is just a robot on wheels. Its onboard tools can detect elements, but they aren't powerful enough to run a definitive DNA or isotope test. Non-biological chemistry can sometimes mimic biological patterns. To prove these spots were made by actual living alien cells, and not just a weird geological fluke, we have to look at the rock using electron microscopes and synchrotrons on Earth. Microscopes the size of entire office buildings. To answer the ultimate question, are we alone in the universe? We have to go pick up the tube. NASA and the European Space Agency came up with a plan called Mars Sample Return. It was the most complicated cosmic relay race in human history. First, launch the biggest lander ever built to Mars. Second, transfer the sample tubes from Perseverance into a small rocket. Third, launch that rocket off the surface of Mars for the very first time. And fourth, have an orbiter catch the sample container in Martian orbit, seal it, and fly it back to Earth. When engineers calculated the real cost, the price tag ballooned from $4 billion to $11 billion. Part of what made the mission so ridiculously expensive wasn't just the rocket science, it was alien paranoia, because there is a tiny, non-zero chance that the rock could contain living, active Martian microbes. Space agencies were legally required to follow extreme planetary protection rules. They had to design a return capsule that could crash land on Earth at 25,000 miles per hour without leaking a single microscopic spore into Earth's environment. The safety requirements and biohazard cleanroom engineering got so complex that researchers spent billions just designing the vault. When politicians in Washington saw the $11 billion shipping bill and realized the samples wouldn't arrive until the late 2030s or 2040s, they panicked. Budget cuts pushed through Congress, stripped funding from the Mars Sample Return Program. While the Perseverance rover keeps driving and collecting rocks, there is currently no funded or approved mission to go get them. Humanity found potential alien fossils and then canceled the delivery truck. Can't we just wait 20 or 30 years until we have better technology? Not easily. Perseverance is powered by a nuclear generator that decays every single day. Within the next decade, its power levels will drop too low, its electronics will freeze in the sub-zero Martian night, and the rover will die. If Perseverance dies before dropping its samples in a safe, visible spot, Shifting dust storms could bury Tube 25 forever. While America squabbles over budgets, the rest of the world is moving. China is currently preparing its Tianwen-3 mission. Their goal is simple: launch a streamlined rocket to Mars, drill 2 meters deep, grab samples, and bring them back to Earth by 2031. If China returns the first proof of extraterrestrial life, while NASA's $7 billion rover sits abandoned in the dirt, it will be the biggest scientific shift in modern history. For thousands of years, humans looked up at the night sky and asked if we were alone. We built giant rockets, sent a car-sized robot to an alien world, and actually found a rock holding the answer. But when we saw the price tag to bring it home, we hesitated. We drew lines between the stars and called ourselves cosmic explorers. The universe just left an answer in the sand and waited to see if we were brave enough to go back and get it. Drop a comment below. Should we spend $11 billion to bring sample 25 back to Earth, or leave it on Mars until humans land in person? Hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, log entry closed. See you on the next ascent.